This is Sybert signing into General's Evolution in Red Alert 3. So this is the General's Total Conversion mod for Red Alert 3. You probably are already familiar with it, but if this is your first time looking at this mod, at the end of this video, there's actually a quick explanation, so you can jump forward to the timestamp in the description and then jump back here if you want a quick overview of the three factions. In the north, as the Red China, this is Beriyan. The map is Autumn Garden, and in the south, as the pink GLA, this is Octo Frog. Alright, Gen Evo, it released the 0.1 beta February? I want to say February of 2021. There was quite a lot of interest, quite a lot of hype. Number of people making videos about it and showcasing all that it is and some of the cool stuff that's going on with it. And you may have seen some of those. I'm definitely late to the party. This is an old version of the game. I've got some other replays that are the current version, 0.21, and so hopefully more versions will be coming soon. But as you can see, there's a ton of work that has been put into this mod. So much has been done to get it to the place that it is. And from the credits document that comes with the mod, which, by the way, mod installation, sometimes it's a little tricky. This one is very straightforward. This is like the easiest mod to install and run I think I have ever seen, ever. But, so very easy to install if you want to jump into it. But there's basically apparently two guys working on it. Gunship Mark II? I hope I'm saying that right. It's Gunship Mark something, and I believe it's Mark II. And then Gore or Sigor. Apparently, it's those two guys are kind of the leads, and Gunship Mark II is the actual lead. But those two guys are given one section of the credits, and then there are a handful of other people which contributed, I'm guessing, in a lesser capacity to one degree or another. But yeah, so this mod made by just a handful of people over the course of, I think, years now. I feel like I remember hearing about this mod 2013, 2014. I might be thinking of something else, but mods are usually a slow burn, and oftentimes they don't come out, but when they do come out, it's awesome to see what people create and how they choose to bend the rules. In this case, we got a couple of technicals going to be coming in for Octo Frog. Actually, a number of, I guess, rocket troopers inside of the technical. Second technical surviving for a couple of moments more before it finally gets blown up. And these rocket troopers may actually be able to clean up this supply center, so the supply truck gets eliminated and it's only rockets shooting at them. Is there okay, there is actually two GATs coming in, so these rockets are going to be cleaned up. They decide to cut and run directly into the gunfire of those GATs, so that's kind of a curious choice to run into the waiting Gatling guns. Looks like a Red Guard managed to make it all the way across the map for a bit of a scout from Beriyan. By the way, if this mod is your kind of thing, if this is what you are liking, then there is a Patreon for both of the guys who are credited with the majority of the work on this mod. So you can support them directly if you like what you see and you want more of it. Otherwise, you know, just have a good time, watch some vids, and move on. So as you can see, things are a little bit different from typical Red Alert. This is much like a dojo core for the Empire. We do have the palace coming up for Octo Frog, and it looks like it was a apparently double command center play into double war factory play for Beriyan. So maybe a little bit of delay on the vehicles coming out, but eventually did get there and did indeed put out a well, get up a good amount of production to potentially put out a lot of stuff. Expansion coming up, that supply stash heading towards the middle of the map. And it looks like this supply stash here for Octo Frog going to be getting cleaned up. The supply gatherer already gone, but it looks like the quad cannons are actually going to get the drop on the Battle Masters, and more quad cannons coming in, so goodbye Battle Masters. The Gats and the Battlemasters trading pretty well against the quads, but ultimately this is a lot of quads here. The Gat even getting a couple of cleanup kills there. 3 quads down just by itself, and actually going fully heroic. There's 4 quads left, but that is not enough. And apparently this one Gat going heroic just tears through those quads. That is a crazy amount of DPS coming out from that Gat tank. And the rocket troopers never actually made it to the front line. And at this point, I hope they don't make it to the front line, because this Gatling tank is probably just going to shred them. As it turns out, 3 rockets is not enough to clean up a fully heroic Gat, even when it's at half health like that. Quad's going to be trading against this Gatling cannon, but actually these quads need to go ahead and focus down this Gat, because, no, it's just getting free damage here. Beriyan getting so much free damage with this Gat. Finally, it does clean up, passes off its double vet status to that quad. And that was a lot of damage by just one Gatling. Now, it had the advantage that the Battlemasters were taking all of the punishment from those quads, and so it got a couple of cleanup kills and a couple of maybe freebies in that sense. Expansion coming up, as you can see, Beriyan taking oil derricks around the map, and then expansions as well. 4 Battlemasters in the middle of the map, but this is quads, this is rocket troopers, maybe even a couple of rebels mixed in here as well. No, just all rockets. A couple of scorpions. Always nice to see a scorpion or 2, but, you know, I'm used to seeing Kane's Wrath scorpions in this case. They're general scorpions. Big reinforcement army coming in for Beriyan, so he's got reinforcements to stop this advance. And both of these guys kind of flooding units into the middle of the map. The parade push is actually kind of slowed down a little bit for Octofrog. He's going to get pushed back for the current moment. More buildings coming up here. Barracks in the middle of the map for reinforcements directly onto the front line for Beriyan. Scorpion tanks getting some good damage out, but this is a lot of Battlemasters, even more rocket troopers and Gats coming in for Beriyan. Octofrog getting pushed back, and just 4 or 5 rockets to live to tell the tale. And they will apparently live to tell the tale, because these Battlemasters can't kill them. They didn't get a single shot. They missed every single shot. They didn't get a single rocket trooper in that time. These are professional soldiers, and they missed every shot. They didn't get one. The Gat's going to come in here, and somehow the Gats are the thing that actually swings the battle into Beriyan's favor. He's got these 2 barracks in the middle of the map. I guess he's not quite producing directly out of them, still utilizing the ones back in his main. And these armies definitely getting much bigger and chunkier than we typically see in Generals. Generals typically a much more mobile playstyle, but this is much more big armies crashing in the middle of the map. Scorpions and rockets from both sides as the Battlemasters, even a flame tank getting in on the action, the dragon tank making it to the front line, and a marauder showing up a little bit too late as once again Beriyan, his superior production, just blasting through. But will he be able to keep up the pressure? The dragon tank goes down, the second one gets eliminated there, and there's a handful of Battlemasters here, but if it's just rockets on the other side, Octofrog might be able to pick off these Battlemasters one by one. Scorpions and reinforcements going to be coming in. The Marauders looking at the battle without really partaking in it as the Battlemasters all get cleaned up, and Beriyan overstepping his bounds. With a little bit of reinforcements coming in, he's going to maybe try and push even further forward. Cargo plane somewhere on the map. I guess it's actually above our sight line, which I didn't realize, but apparently that's what that is. Finally, we've got an Emperor Overlord tank on the map. We've got triple quad war factory pumping out vehicles like no tomorrow. Gats and a couple of Battle Masters going to be turning south to go for that expansion once again, but this is a lot of forces from Octofrog. He may actually have way too much here. Beriyan needs to cut and run, or try and cut his losses, so he's going to trade right here on the front line. This is probably so many units that jumped on him that he couldn't actually escape, and in this case, he will lose everything. Right on the edge there. If he had been a little bit quicker, he might have been able to pull out of that before he lost everything, but ultimately, once you get to a certain point, you just have to commit to the fight. Octofrog going down onto the low ground. He's going to start pushing the expansions of Beriyan, and Beriyan not swinging in from behind with his reinforcements. They're just kind of watching, just kind of waiting and seeing how it turns out. The bunker trying to stand strong. The Gatling cannon as well, putting out a good amount of DPS against this one Scorpion tank. Eventually, that Scorpion does go down. The Marauder also potentially taking some damage from that, and it will just sit there and take it for the current moment. 2 more Gatlings coming up as more Gat tanks show up to actually try and get in on the fight. And finally, the pincer movement coming in as Beriyan, surrounding from the high ground, is going to try and surround the army of Octofrog to crush it. Rockets coming in from somewhere. I think that was an RD strike, get it called in by Beriyan. But he's now going to be pushing from the low ground. Octofrog retreating onto the high ground, and he may just be looking to try and escape to the east. But no, he turns back around. The Overlord tank is here. The Gatlings leading the way, cleaning up as many of those infantry as they can. And all 4 bomb cars get eliminated before they get up to the front line. Marauders turning around, Overlords on the front line, but only one of them. The others aren't quite there yet. The first Overlord tanking some good damage. Listening outposts as well, getting eliminated. And the nuke on the way for Beriyan. He's bought enough time to have a nuke coming down in just over 3 minutes. Overlord tanks here to anchor the army, but there isn't much surrounding them as Octofrog has far more units, just lower quality units, but it doesn't matter. With this many rockets on the front line, Octofrog breaks the Overlord tank, at least one of them. The second one is just now going down. 2 more Overlords, more Gats, more infantry, everything rushing to the front line for Beriyan. His production, 4 war factories, putting out so many units, so many barracks as well, trying to get in on this battle and just trying to surround and just go for it. The Dragon tank coming in from the side. The Overlords looking but not rising to the occasion. Marauders on the front line, and the units for Octofrog getting smaller and smaller, getting choked out by the forces of Beriyan. And the demo cars close the distance almost, but they don't quite get it. Beriyan continuing to push the front. He's got reinforcements still coming in, and Octofrog may just be in a bit of a meat grinder now. Octofrog may be in a bit of a meat grinder now, as even a nuke cannon getting onto the front lines as a second one makes its way up here, and the artillery is just too much for Octofrog to handle. Octofrog just piecemealing 1 unit at a time almost to the front line, trying to get his forces up here, trying to hold something, but there's just way too much from Beriyan. Too many expansions, too much production. A couple of those tanks going down for just a moment, but the reinforcements are enough to push forward. The single red guard over here just attacking that supply truck, not giving up. 1 nuke cannon gets eliminated. Octofrog gonna try and make a stand. Once again, the forces of Beriyan not all joining together just yet. It may not even matter. He may not even need that second group of units that's just hanging out behind and watching. Absolute mayhem from both sides. Well, one of these nuke cannons may end up going down as it's getting pretty close. It gets eliminated. The nuke cannon in the back continuing to put out more and more damage, though, pretty unopposed. Beriyan trying to choke out Octofrog. He may need to wait another minute to fully break the front line. Octofrog committing everything into this direct assault. And man, this line of red across the map just has been non-stop for minutes now. An absolutely insane amount of eco, insane amount of production coming out from Beriyan. A non-stop onslaught. And Octofrog holding the line well enough, but when some of the stuff that's hanging out back here gets to the front line, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. 30 seconds left on the clock. Will we get the nuke just for the show of it? Very possibly. Not necessarily because it's actually needed, but very possibly just for the show of it. Quad arms dealer for Octofrog as well. Man, those nuke cannons absolutely shredding. The rocket squad's cleaning up another Overlord tank as it's getting close to... no, it's gone. It is gone. The nuke cannon's moving closer and closer, eliminating another Marauder, another Scorpion, as the nuke has counted down to 0, and will Beriyan actually fire it off? I mean, at this point, you might as well just do it for the show. Marauders stepping out one at a time. The nuke cannons almost not even caring, getting up close and personal. The production is gone. The economy still stands. Octofrog not taking a lot of damage on the economy, but it doesn't matter. Beriyan takes the game with just overwhelming numbers. And again, what a chaotic, messy game that was. But some pretty great action to see, and a lovely intro for Gen Evo. So you can see it plays out quite a bit differently to a traditional Generals game. It plays out quite a bit differently to a traditional Red Alert 3 game. But we've seen a 1v1, so let's go check out a 2v2. Welcome to the map, Twilight Flame. Wow, just right out of the gate, we got like 10 oil derricks right in the middle of the map. So that will probably be a central focal point. But let's see in the north as the pink GLA. This is Octofrog. As the red China, this is Korah. In the south, as our green GLA, this is Beriyan. Or Beriyan? And as the yellow USA, this is SEO. Or so? I don't know. But USA, double GLA, and then China. So we have got a lovely little mix of factions here. We finally get to see some USA play. I'm excited. Is it purely going to be Rock V's all day, all night? Or is it going to be a little bit different? Lovely little cargo truck there for USA as well. And then you guys got to see the engineer capture mechanic for the USA. Right into the expansion goes Beriyan and 4 supply chain eco right out of the gate. So he's definitely delaying the oil derrick capture, but everyone else is pretty delayed on the oil derrick capture as well, so that's fine. Korah grabs the middle of the map, the guard towers on the island, before grabbing the oil derricks themselves. Radar van is out for Octofrog. Double supply for Octo, but expanding out to a 3rd supply. And then I'm assuming a 4th supply will be coming up relatively soon, but we don't see it constructed just yet. That might actually be it popping out right now. There's the engineers for the cap, and what's the building? It's actually going to be a fast palace. So, not the fastest palace, because there is a 3rd base or a 3rd ref first, but a fast palace certainly, without any real production coming out of that war factory before the palace. The same double technical play as before. The Patriot missile gets online just in time, and that's an EMP Patriot. As you can see, the units exploding into blood squibs there, as they just get annihilated by that EMP Patriot, which I guess makes this USA super weapons general. So we don't get to see that pre-game. We just get to know their factions pregame. I don't know what they chose specifically. Beriyan going to be losing one of his supply trucks. The other one maybe getting harassed as well by Korah's GAT. But the Scorpion should be able to clean up the GAT without too much trouble. A little bit of a battle bus problem going on, as we do have a Rock V, it looks like, coming in for SEO. He's going to be going for the harvesters now. One supply truck down. It looks like one or two from over here were already eliminated. And now the second supply truck on the right is also going to be hunted, but not eliminated. That Humvee gets eliminated by the Scorpion rocket, so a nice kill there. Everyone has grabbed their respective oil derricks, with, of course, Korah claiming the ones in the middle of the map at this point. So things have stabilized a bit. Beriyan is most likely getting that multi-war factory production up and running just like last game. Fast expands, lots of eco, manages to hold off the early assaults and rebuild from them, and then it's just big production out of lots of war factories. And, well, it looks like it's going to be clashing with Korah here. On the right side of the map, the early oil derricks from Korah maybe helping out with that, but of course Korah expanding to the corner as well, getting a third ref up and running. Third supply stash, I should probably say. Got to try and use the correct terms, not for the wrong game. Reinforcements for Korah may be able to turn this around. A Toxin Tractor getting in on it, but it eliminated very quickly there. More Battle Masters coming to the front line. A Rocket Squad as well going to be trying to make their way up to the front line. And it looks like Korah has broken Beriyan's front line, but will Korah be able to continue pressing forward? Octofrog on the left side of the map going to be breaking down the oil derrick of SEO, and SEO without a lot of forces here to stop it. Not even a whole lot moving out on the map. Just now going to be responding. One Crusader, but the rest just Rock Vs. Rock Vs circling around the map and trying to pick off what they can from a distance. Back on the right side of the map, quad cannons, Scorpions, and, you know, again, like one more Toxin Tractor? I'm not actually sure if that was a Toxin Tractor exploding or not. But a couple of Scorpions and quads really pushing out from Beriyan, and now going to be able to push back Korah for the current moment. Octofrog has fallen flat on the left side of the map, but striking down the oil derricks is a nice move there, able to kind of cut down that bit of economy and production from taking shape. More expansions potentially going to be coming up for SEO, going for an additional command center now in his own main. Beriyan pushes up onto the high ground, destroys the expansion, is trading a bit against the Gatling tank, but not all focused, not all of his units engaging at the same time. Artillery strike comes down, but it's a bit of a whiff there for Beriyan's forces. Listening outposts getting eliminated. A second supply center going to be going down, it looks like. There isn't much here to stop it. A couple of Battle Masters, finally an Overlord making its way onto the front lines, and Beriyan may get the kill onto the supply center before the Overlord even shows up. Supply center eliminated, but the rest of the army may be dead in the water. We'll have to see if the reinforcements for Beriyan can strike the balance and allow him to escape. He's going to engage directly into the Overlord, and the Gatling tank not being, or the Gatling cannon not doing much on the front lines, but the Overlord standing strong for just a moment, not long enough, as 5 or 6 Scorpions get the better of it and press forward. Beriyan starting to push forward on the high ground, but on the low ground, he's lost out. He's not been able to push forward on both fronts. He is going to be able to take down these oil derricks quite quickly, and he's actually going to be able to cross the river quite easily as well. Potentially all four oil derricks going down. So while he's maybe losing his army here on the right side, he's making progress in the middle of the map. He's completely cut down the eco of Korah one way or the other. And actually, a couple of these Scorpion tanks actually surviving. That Overlord tank going down to the Scorpion rockets, getting eliminated there. Oil derricks will be targeted down soon. One of them already eliminated. A second one goes down. These Scorpion tanks finally getting surrounded and destroyed. The Battle Masters and the Gats coming together. Once again, we get a heroic Gat out on the field. This time, Korah is in command of that one. On the left side, big army pushing forth. Octofrog finally going to be striking down SEO. And it looks like the production is going to be getting camped here as the War Factory, the double War Factory, is going to be potentially shut down by Octofrog. Couple of fire bases trying to go up, even more Patriots trying to get those EMP missiles out onto the field. Firebase gets eliminated on the left side of the map just as the Patriot comes online, and Beriyan shows up with a rocket buggy, but that does not last at all. Beriyan going to be sweeping around from the back, coming through the middle of the map after destroying a couple of those oil derricks, and is going to get the kill on this army. Octofrog getting assaulted from two sides. He's got a ton of infantry, but they're just getting annihilated. He's trading okay, but Beriyan has more than enough production to back this army up. So Beriyan trading against this army is okay. For Octofrog, it may not be as recoverable. Octofrog with a second army ready and waiting. He steps up to the high ground, or steps up to the middle of the map, and it's Scorpions on the front line, quad cannons on the reinforcement path, as it's Beriyan versus Octofrog, our two GLA players clashing, but the rocket buggy's doing so much damage. When those volleys go off, they kill whatever they're targeting. One volley, and it's done. Octofrog has fallen back. Beriyan going to be taking a bit of damage on the right side of the map. Korah finally gathering a bit of strength to strike forward and do some damage to Beriyan. Beriyan back in the middle of the map, left, right, and center, literally. He's got armies in all three places. He may finally be able to clean up these oil derricks. I don't know if he maybe kept those around to potentially capture for himself, but no, he's just going to go ahead, go for it, and destroy it. War Factory on the low ground for Octofrog. Barracks as well. Reinforcements going directly into the front line. That oil derrick does go down, but Beriyan has managed to hold off Korah on the right side of the map. So it's Octofrog and Beriyan sparring in the center, and then Beriyan going to be winning in the oil derrick wars in the middle of the map. And also winning versus Korah on the right side. Korah trying to reestablish this high ground expansion area, going to be adding a bunker, going to be adding a couple of Gatling tanks, or Gatling cannons as well. Gatling tank here on the low ground. Gets targeted down by a buggy, almost eliminated. Mines going down or something, and getting the kill on one of those units. Quads showing up. Some kind of a drop coming in. Gonna be cluster mines deployed right on the battlefield there. I don't know that that'll actually stop Beriyan, but it may slow down his assault at this point. SEO getting beaten back once again. It looks like Octofrog barely having enough forces to make it to the main base of SEO, but I think SEO will be able to hold there. Meanwhile, Beriyan cutting back through the middle of the map near the oil derricks, and is going to be able to camp the production a little bit of Octofrog. Octofrog with a couple of Scorpions trying to stand against the rocket buggies, and last with the oil derricks nearby. The rocket buggies may just kind of hit and run, get on out of there. They don't have to win the war right now. They just have to get a bit of damage done and then move on. A couple of rocket troopers here. They clean up an Inferno cannon, go for a supply truck as well. This single rebel trying to do battle with 20 tanks surrounding it, and the tanks are almost losing, but they barely managed to get the kill there. Rocket buggies against rocket buggies. Octofrog finally up to that rocket buggy tech and going to make use of them in his own army. Beriyan leaving a couple of units here, potentially just to die. Crusaders and missile defenders all here on the front line as SEO finally gets out of his base, strikes against Octofrog. Octofrog may finally be losing those oil derricks. It may be Beriyan is the only one with oil derricks left on the map in a couple of moments. Cashback being called in as well. And what was that? MiGs coming in for just a moment there as Korah strikes against SEO, but it's not going to be enough to stop the army. Beriyan is going to try and go for those oil derricks, but is that actually going to work with the reinforcements of Korah coming in? That Tomahawk just going for the kill on the Battlemaster and on the Gatling tank, but not quite getting the kill on the Battlemaster. That Battlemaster just needs to drive over there and kill the Tomahawk nice and easy. The arms dealer potentially under threat in the supply truck going down. Rockets going to try and go for the barracks, but a suicide bombing car steps out and gets a kill. Still way too many missile defenders here on the front line from SEO, and he manages to take down the arms dealer. Beriyan starting to push forward on the right side. Once again, he's made it to the high ground. He's busted it through the defenses that are here, and he's going for the eco once again. That has allowed Beriyan to fight literally all over the map, is having that eco advantage and being able to curb the eco of his opponents. Gatling's on the low ground trying to hold off the Scorpions, but it's not going to be enough. One Battlemaster not going to be enough. And now the propaganda center is in range. It'll be quickly razed to the ground as Beriyan is looking to close in. Korah has been defeated, handing everything over to Octofrog, turning this into a 2v1. And this is going to be very difficult for Octofrog to try and pull this off. His production getting camped on both fronts. The Chinese tech about to disappear as the command centers go down. Once again, this double command center multi-war factory play coming out from our China players. And I'm not actually sure how many command centers SEO ended up getting. It looks like 2, as they do claim the victory. Korah and Octofrog leaving the game. SEO and Beriyan being the champs there. Again, just chaos for much of that game. We don't see the specificity of unit control that we often see in Generals. Although, to be fair, there are lots of Generals games that have devolved into just mindless chaos as GLA runs all over the map and USA and China try and clean them up. But that will do it for our second game, so thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out. All right, so right when you start the game, you choose your general. You don't do that in the pre-game section. You do that once you spawn into the game. And apparently you can see the scanner sweep go out there as that guy just scanned me. I just scanned him back, so we're both playing USA in this case. I'm going to go ahead and drop a barracks right out of the gate. Well, you'll notice a couple of differences. One of the big ones, the eco, right? It's pay as you go, not pay up front. So that's a major difference in how the economy works between Generals and Gen Evo. You'll also notice there's an engineer. There isn't a capture buildings upgrade for the Rangers. And so you have a supply center, but no worker units. And then the supply center, as you probably already noticed, you got the supply trucks instead of choppers. So some differences for sure. It is definitely not a Generals remake. It's a bit of a reimagining or reinterpretation. And I assume the ratios for harvesters are similar to how they are in Generals. I don't know, maybe I should be getting a third supply truck. I'm only going to show you a couple of things here. Oh, it looks like we should maybe garrison that building. I'm not going to go super crazy in this game. I'm just going to try not to die. The power indicator isn't quite clear, but you do have a power requirement over there. Let's get a couple of Humvees. And then, so expanding, you got yourself an armadillo outpost, which turns into a bunker. And then, I guess, fires cannons as last resort. But and then you also have a dozer, so you can drop a command center out somewhere to go for an expansion. Oh, this guy's auto-harvesting to that supply drop zone over there. So that's kind of annoying. We'll keep these guys together. Maybe send a couple of them into the Humvee. I guess we could get flashbangs to clear out that building. So anyways, now that we've got a couple of Humvees, we'll get a dozer. We'll send him out for an expansion, and I'll actually also start a strategy center so I can show you how drop zones work. But other than that, you know, it kind of plays how you would expect. Those are some of the key differences. Also, you have reverse move by command. So, you know, per... Ooh, I should evacuate those guys. Ooh, that guy barely survived. Also, the repair mechanic of War Factory, it's just the circle like it is for Allies or Empire, not the actually drive into the little crane guy down there and get set up that way. So obviously dropping a second command center, like other Command & Conquer games, gives you a second build queue. So we will actually, once this command center finishes, we will be able to drop 2 buildings at once, which is why you see players drop an additional command center in their base. This guy keeps scanning me, so I guess I'm going to scan him back. He's dropping a Patriot missile system. Ooh, evac. Okay, Strategy Center, you've got the 3 upgrades, but I don't see an area where you've got the other... So I guess those are the interaction units. Okay, cleared out that building. But you don't have the range, armor, and damage boost like you normally do with generals. And then if we go ahead and we'll build a supply drop zone there... We'll use our second queue as well. Okay, we switched those back over to machine guns so they can hold off this infantry attack that is like never ceasing from our opponent. You switch between the flashbangs and the machine gun, so. Which actually, how do flashbangs do against regular infantry? I haven't actually tried this in, I guess they do okay. So they're a little bit less direct attack, but they do somewhat okay. Okay, where is that supply drop zone? Okay, so it's just finishing up. As you can see, it actually gives you just 25 creds a second, or maybe every other second, but it's not the supply drop zone like it is in Generals. All right, so those are the majority of the differences there. As you can see, there's some new units, some new things going on, but then a lot of it is very similar. Yeah. So that's the USA. Let's jump over to take a look at China. All right, so right out of the gate, nuke, tank, or infantry. I feel like we gotta go infantry general. So once again, very similar building mechanic to USA, and supply centers also produce trucks. The trucks look a little bit different visually, at least, from USA. It's so weird having a defense structure tab with with the nuclear missile just sitting right there. Which, you know, I guess that's how it is with Red Alert 3, but it just seems weird seeing the nuclear missile from Generals in that situation. So, this is Pipeline Problems from... Was there a Pipeline Problems version in Generals? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what the deal is with Pipeline Problems. I think it's similar to a map. Let's get ourselves some Red Guard. I guess we'll get a couple of engineers as well to actually go and capture those oil derricks. A lot of trees on this map. Way more trees on this map than the other versions. So we'll get ourselves an additional supply truck. Yeah, ore mines have 60,000 in them by default, which is pretty interesting. So the supply truck is going to head over there. And then we'll get some more infantry. Really, I want to get up to the propaganda center. Now, stop auto-harvesting over there. Okay, black napalm, chain guns. Once again, you can get a dozer, and I believe, yeah, the outpost also deploys into an outpost. So it, does it actually provide build radius? I'm not sure. I'm gonna get a couple more Red Guard just to make sure that we don't die right in this moment. So propaganda center. And yeah, listening outpost gives you build radius, as you can see. So that's your expansion point. So we can drop that guy over there.
Construction complete.
Oh, I accidentally built an extra supply truck. I didn't even realize that. You got formation move like in Kane's Wrath and Red Alert 3, and then you got the, I guess you can also base creep with buildings. So drop an extra command center for 2 grand, builds in 45 seconds. Gives you a decent amount of build radius, but honestly the outpost gives you a huge amount of build radius as well, so that's pretty good either way. So a la the Soviets in Red Alert 3. Command center, apparently the internet center starts giving you money immediately. So the internet center gives you 80 credits a second. Supply drop zones give you 25. And yeah, so those are some of the differences in how China works in Gen Evo. Alright, so let's move on to GLA. And then the classic tournament desert for our GLA game, Toxin, Stealth, and Demo. Gotta go with Dr. Thrax. So right out of the gate, you got windmills, which provide power, as you may guess. Definitely a bit of a difference there. But I'm gonna just drop a barracks first, and then a supply stash. And I guess we'll actually get a double supply stash. And we'll drop those at our... Ooh, we're up against a USA. So a bit of a reveal there. I just set the AI to be random. So a bit of a reveal there, though. The scan going down, being able to see that. And then... Oh, okay. So the worker builds into a command center. So, but also you can drop... no, wait. I don't want... I want a tunnel network. So I want to try the expansion system with the worker. So let's see. Yeah, it costs 2 grand to get the command center, but the worker can just create that basically. And then I want to take a look at the tunnel system. Oh shoot, we should probably get we should probably get some rebels out. This happens every time. The AI is really aggressive with the infantry just right out of the gate. We're gonna have a tunnel network pretty soon. I guess we should have a, we should get a second tunnel network as well. We get 2 tunnel defenders as they come out of the tunnel network. And then the network's got the gun. Is that War Factory still not finished? Okay, there we go. And the palace. So Scorpion rockets, radar van as well, bomb truck, scud launcher. And then you've got a bomb car right out of the gate for... Actually, can you garrison the palace? I'm not 100% sure. I guess I could take those buildings in the middle. Tunnel network is almost up. And, so I'm not sure what the point of the windmill is. Oh, this guy can build another command center in a minute. He doesn't actually disappear. I didn't realize that. Can he also? He can't harvest resources. I guess that makes sense because it's the truck that does the harvesting. So the palace, toxin shells, anthrax, and then fort structure, which actually... So just... Hey, we got radar. That's nice. No scanner sweep on the radar van, so I guess that's different. It's over here as a support power, but you can't... Actually, no, let's try that. Do the scanner sweeps regen more quickly? Oh. Attach high explosive bomb or bio bomb. Okay. Oh, we can garrison the palace. That's great. Okay, so we've got 1 radar van. There's the scan. And it looks like it resets completely. It looks like we can't have multiple radar van scanner sweeps going down, which is kind of annoying. Hey, look at that. Okay, so the tunnel network works. I was wondering how they were, yeah, there you go. It doesn't show you what you got, but it works nonetheless. So that's pretty great. All right, and the last thing to look at is the black market, which I completely forgot about, but we can garrison buildings. We've got scanner sweeps coming down. Yeah, it's a full reset. Please don't kill my barracks. Oh no, where did I send that worker? Black market. Deploy there. So is there a second way to expand with GLA? Oh, we lost our barracks. That's annoying. Come on, this guy. Alright, so you get 20 credits a second from the black market, and that's where some of the other upgrades are. Oh, you've got two little upgrade tabs, one for black market and one for the palace. And so that's where they split up some of the upgrades in that way. So you got two little tabs there, so you don't actually have to go to the building or anything. You can just click the upgrade tab. I didn't actually see that. All right, that'll do it for GLA.